Netherlands has finally handed actually over 119 Benin bronzes to Nigeria, marking the single largest repatriation of artifacts in the country's history. The artifacts, which included commemorative heads and intricately crafted plaques, were looted during the British invasion of the ancient Benin Kingdom in 1897. The bronzes were auctioned all over Europe, where some ended up in Dutch museums, including the World Museum in Leiden, and had been exhibited for over a century. The masterpieces were formally returned at the official signing ceremony of the handing over of the Benin Bronzes on Saturday at the National Museum Onika in Lagos. In the 19th century, British troops stole thousands of Benin Bronzes in the then independent Kingdom of Benin in the south of present-day Nigeria. The sculptures were plagued from the kingdom's royal palace and had since been held in museums and private collections across Europe and the United States. Last year, I think that was when they brought it to our notice that Netherlands and other countries that are in possession of the Benin sculptures would be returning them. You know, this event that's occurred, you know, where there's been about 119 bronzes that's been returned. What do you make of this? Do you think it's more like a welcome development? You know, I know we have museums in the country. Do you think this is actually going to improve or bring out into limelight the museums we have in the country? And we know about the Benin heritage. It's one heritage in the country, in parts of this country that is highly, recognizable. In this instance, please, I want to get your thoughts on what you make of this decision from Netherlands.
Well, to me, that is a very good gesture on the part of the Netherlands. We are in a dynamic world. The world is growing. And for countries that their image makes meaning to them, you see them drifting towards this direction. It's like countries that have openly apologized for the atrocities embedded in slavery, particularly, apart from colonialism. There are individuals that you will notice that even the church was being used to power the enslavement of the blacks. Just as sadly as what we are seeing today, one of these days I'm going to do a documentary, in my thinking, on the evil side of the church in Nigeria. Because when you look back into history, you see people who use the podium of the church to speak to authority, to give direction to society. You have people like Martin Luther King Jr. So to me, I think this gesture is equivalent to nations that have come up to look at their past and make public statement about the past.
But Michael, yes. Referring to history, please, if I may quickly ask, do you think this artifact should be kept in the Onika Museum in Lagos or should be returned to the origin in Benin?
My own view on this matter is very clear. I'll use a point to drive that. In the past, when a body like EFCC proceeds to court against a governor of a state who looted the people's commonwealth of the state that he superintends over within the period he was in office, and then when the money is recovered, they turn it to the national treasury. To me, that is not only very unfortunate, but unfortunate use of the law, because it is the people of that state that were robbed of their resources. That money should be returned to that state to develop the state. Or if they will put it directly, let's say the state needs a particular facility, or you are going to turn that money into housing project, you build it in that state so that the people can have the impact that this is what our son did to us. The money haven't been recovered. The federal government has returned the money federal government can say, okay, we are going to use it to execute project directly, so that those who are there will not reloot it. Okay, I'm fine. That's my own view. In the same way, touching on this, those artifacts should be returned to Benin, except there will be a kind of understanding to the extent that, because this is part of tourism. Those, wherever those things are kept, will still drift and then bring in visitors to come and see them. So, to whom is the money going to go? If the state will have a kind of partnership with the federal government, that whatever money that derives therefrom, they will share or they will bring the money. If not, that thing should be returned to the state. The state Benin, as a kingdom, properly so-called, should be able to have an internationally recognizable museum that keep its past artifacts that reflects their background and ancestry. It should be back to Benin. Do you understand?
Okay.
It should be a challenge. I say this to you. Like where I come from, there are cultural activities that take place. We are all unique, just as unique as our fingerprint. That is how we are. And that is how the beauty comes about. Now, if you have, because these things gain value in terms of length of time it has stayed. The older, the better, just like wine. So to that extent, my position very clearly on it, those in the West or in the Yoruba, they have their own artifacts. They should be able to develop them, show them. We can also have some in the National Museum. If they are going, the Benin is going to donate it to them, that's a different thing altogether. But they should return to where these things were stolen. If even in the principle of restorative justice, which is part of criminal justice administration law, if somebody, let's say I'm deprived of my phone by way of stealing, and then the person is caught, apart from the fact that the person is going to prosecute, the phone will be returned to the owner. The phone will not be returned to the state. It will be returned to the owner of the phone. The phone is mine. They will trace me and give it to me. That's just the way it is. So, thanks for raising that, because it's one issue I have been arguing, particularly the first one I raised about the issue of stolen money. Let's say Rivers State. The governor stole money and EFCC proceeded against him and they recovered the money. The money should go to the state. That was our own common word, that the person misappropriated.
It should go to the
It should
state
go
and
to the
not
state,
the
not to the federal government.
Okay.
Do you understand it? That's my position and view on that.
All right.